Find the thread first. Tie a slip knot. The way to fight Easter is, let's make it into a U shape. Then take a look at it again. Hit it like this. Then from this coil, grab the thread. Grab this thread, then hold the thread with your thumb and don't move. Hold him up like this. Pull it over so there will be a slip knot. Pull this thread. You can adjust the size of this coil. That's a slip knot. This approach is correct. Don't leave this thread too long. If it's too long, just tie another knot. Too long is not necessary. Just keep it smaller. It's a U shape. And he pitched them like this. Pull the thread in the coil with your hand. Pull it over and tie a knot. Just leave a little thread. The size of this knot, compare with your fingers. The length of more than half a finger is enough. Take out the crochet. Crochet the big coil and go through it. Put the line. Wrap from the back to the top of the hook head. Then the hook drags the big coil. Now the first lock pin is done. It takes 7 of these locks to knit. Hook head, hook line. Drag it from the big coil. This is the second lock pin. Every time you finish knitting a lock needle, there will be a V shape. Here is a V shaped. This is the first one. This is the second one. The third one is still from the back of the crochet. Put it on the hook and drag it through this coil. 3 locking pins. Put it on the hook and drag over 4 lock pins. Put it on the hook and drag over 5 lock pins. Put it on the hook and drag over 6 lock pins. Put it on the hook and drag over 2 lock pins. After knitting, you can count it yourself. A V shape is a locking pin. 1 more 2. 3 4 4. 5 4 6. 7. Mark it first. Take a look at the position of the first lock pin. This V-shaped. Take out the handheld thread. Make the previous mark. It will be easy to knit later. Mark it. The first V. The first V shape, where it have with a big thread. Pass it through here. This is where the needle needs to be added later, so mark it. It won't go wrong later. Start knitting. There's a coil on the crochet that doesn't change. Insert the needle from the penultimate V. From the penultimate miniature here. Needle in this place. Hook the long line. Hook the hook like this. Hook the long line like this. You pull a coil from inside this coil. Crochet the 2 coils like this. Crochet winding. The way to wind the wire is to wrap it around the hook head from the back. Hook around this thread. Drag through the 2 coils in turn. And here's the first shot done. After. So take a look at this. Underneath the crochet, there will be a big hole. Here's our first shot. Find the location of the first needle. The other end of the handle. Wear it inside. Mark it. That's where we got the first shot. There's a long line here. Take a look at the big hole next to it. Not this hole, it's this hole. It's this thread below the crochet. This big hole that came out is the position of the first needle, marked with a handheld thread. Start knitting the second short needle. Second short needle insertion position. This vertical line, it corresponds to the position just passed through. Start with this eyelet on the side. Wear the second short needle, crochet through this hole. then hook a coil. Crochet winding. Method of winding, or is the thread on the back of the hook. Round the hook. After hooking the line, drag through the 2 coils in turn. The second needle is fine. The next short needle goes through here. Look at the vertical line. There's a hole down there. Next, put on the 3rd stitch. Go through this hole next to it. Knit the 3rd short needle, crochet through. Hook a coil. Crochet winding. Drag through the 2 coils in turn. 3rd, knit well. Don't pull the line too long. Maybe this hook is just right. The coil is about the thickness of crochet. If you forget where to wear it, just look at the hole corresponding to this vertical line. It's the hole you just wore, and then wear it from its adjacent position. Knit short needles through. Knit a short needle. After knitting a short needle, the hole I just wore, move 1 hole to the left. It's the position of the next short needle. Knit a short needle like this. Move to the marked place. 3 stitches are required at the marked place. The coil on the crochet does not change. Go through the big hole marked first. Hook a coil. Crochet winding. Rubbing 2 coils. This is a needle, also from this big hole. Turn this line round like this. Let it stand up. It's like being in this big hole. Knit another short needle, crochet through, hook a coil. Crochet winding through 2 coils. Then the 2nd stitch and the 3rd stitch. Turn it around like this again. Keep knitting from the big hole. Or this is the place where the mark is made. Crochet through, hook a coil. Crochet winding across 2 coils. There are 3 needles in the big hole. Next, continue to pierce, or the big hole. Move left. The adjacent hole, and I want you to pay attention to those coils. It's on the same level as ours. This hole is where the next needle is placed. Crochet through. Then hook the long line, hook a coil. Crochet winding across 2 coils. Another short needle. Find the hole you just pierced. Move left. This hole is where the next needle is threaded. The characteristics of this hole. This line and this line. These 2 lines where they cross underneath. This big hole down here, always and just beginning to mark the holes on the same level. Go through and hook a short needle. Find where the needle was threaded just now. Move left. This hole is where the next stitch is placed. And this is where the needle was threaded. Move left. This big hole is where the next stitch is. Finish this hole and then find the next hole. Here it is. Let's take a look here. It's this big hole. Requires 2 stitches. Go through this big hole first. Hook a coil. Then drag through 2 coils. This is a needle. Then crochet through this big hole. Go through again. Hook a coil. Then the wire is wound and dragged through the 2 coils. On the hook a short needle. After the short knitting is done, the thread here at the beginning, you can take it off. Then mark it here. There is a V shape under the crochet. This is a V shape. This is where the last stitch is. Mark it with a line. Avoid forgetting. Now look at the vertical line underneath the crochet. This big hole next to the vertical bar is the position of the last stitch. Let's count. Is there 14 short stitches between the last stitch and the first stitch? If not 14 short needles, there must be something wrong with that. This is the first one marked. The first place to wear it is the position of the first short needle. And then This is the position of the second short needle. Then the next short needle, third short needle. Everybody take a look. Here's a shape. This is a short needle. Third short needle. Fourth short needle. Fifth short needle. Sixth short needle. Seventh short needle. Eighth short needle. Ninth short needle. 10th short needle. 11 short needles. 12 short needles. 13 short needles. Just right for the marking. It has 14 holes. It's 14 short needles. It is correct. I just put my thumb through like this. This is a short needle. Count if you have 14 short needles. 14 short needles is correct. Let's start knitting the pull needle. Connect the first needle to the left and right stitches. We use a pull needle. At this time, the coil on the crochet should be smaller. You can manually pull the line. Gently tug. Make the coil on the crochet extra small. The crochet will not fall off no matter how it shakes. The crochet goes directly through this big hole. After going through here, hook this long line. Hook a coil. The previous coil hooked. Drag this coil to the back. Inside this coil, you can press this down with your hand. A little tighter. This coil that comes with the crochet, pull the line tighter. Make it smaller. There's also a coil on the crochet. Rewinding, hook head. Drag through the coil, completed a lock pin, and make it longer. Sew the first and last stitches. They are connected together by means of a pull and a lock pin. We're done with our first lap. The first circle is a shape like this. It's an oval shape. Start the second lap. The method is the same as the first circle, or use short needles. The way for the next 3 laps is the same. Or this big marked hole. Crochet through the big hole. Pass it through the marked here. Hook a coil. Crochet winding across 2 coils. Here's the first shot. After the first stitch is completed, pull this coil out. Then mark the first stitch on the second lap. So take a look at this. These 2 threads. Run this thread through. This is the first stitch of the second lap. Start the second stitch. Look at the hole that the vertical line corresponds to. That's where the needle was threaded just now. The second stitch is moved to the left from the position next to him. Thread it here next to it. Everyone must not wear the wrong clothes. Notice the vertical line. This is where we just threaded the needle. Move left. It's the position of the second needle. There will be a V shape here. This is the position of the second short needle. Go through this big hole in its face. Knitting second stitch. Crochet through. Hook a coil. The hooked coil should not be long, because the line is thick. If the hook is too long, maybe the bag is too big, not good looking. It will also cause the line to be insufficient. This is the hook out of the coil. Wrap the thread around the hook from the back. Drag the 2 coils on the crochet in turn. This is where the second needle is inserted. Still move left. The next hole is here. Knitting the third stitch. The second circle is a stitch for each hole. Still knitting 14 short needles. Go through here. Then move the next hole to the left. It's the next crochet going through. Wrap the wire across the 2 coils. Then the 4th stitch is done. Count while hooking. A V shape is a needle.